Hello everyone and welcome to the video for today. Again, we are going to paint a figurine. This one is a woman snowman with a little kid in a cart or a rolling wagon, or what you call that. It has wheel anyway. This one has kind of a plate underneath it, so I am going to paint it before I am going to make the layer for it ready. I painted it with two or three layers of white before I started painting the small decorations. Here I am starting with their small hats that I am painting red. And I am painting both Mama Snowman and Kiddo Snowman's hat here with the red paint that I have. I am using my Vallejo model paint, as I think this is a really nice paint that is having a really nice what you call that, opaque layer when painted on. Only the white is a bit tricky on these 3D prints. The little kiddo here is getting a red scarf, so I am taking my time and concentrating about hitting the right spots for the little scarf. I also painted Mama's mittens with the red paint here. It was really difficult to see where the mittens was, so I just kind of painted what I thought was the mittens, but I think it turned out really neat anyway. So just give it a try if you get this kit. Don't be shy. I also mixed a tiny bit of yellow with a tiny dot of red. Be careful with that because the red is really overpowering, to make this orange color for their carrot noses. I decided for a brown wagon or car. I could have painted this in blue, green, or whatever, but I want to keep this kind of neutral, like it's out in the natures and they just find whatever they can. So I'm just keeping it in the brown color here for the little cart. And with the dotting tool and a tiny bit of black paint, I am painting the eyes of Mama and Kiddo. Then I am going to paint the wheels on the little wagon again with the black. I mixed some white with a tiny bit of black in there for a gray color, and I am painting Mama's scarf with that gray color, and I think that's it for this little figurine. Now it just needs to dry before we can continue. I found the houses that I wanted to sit here on this level, and then I placed the Mama with her kids. I actually glued that on. I did not glue on the house. I glued the Mama and the kid on because it has this little plate that we need to get underneath the snow. That was my silk clay I was showing here. I am going to use my silk clay to make a little what you call that, here and there on the landscape, to make it look a little more real. So I'm just taking a tiny bit of the clay and I am putting some glue onto the wooden shelf here, and then I'm just sticking the clay onto the glue, being careful that I know that I'm not placing clay where I don't want it. And then I'm just making sure that the clay is kind of what you call that, merged into the bottom layer, so it doesn't have some kind of weird angle on there. And I'm using my tool to kind of soften out the connection here, and also my fingers, and I'm taking my time with this. I actually decided to make kind of a hill shape over one of these light bulbs that would say underneath one of the houses. So I just took a tiny piece of the clay, flattened it, and made a hole for the light bulb, and made sure that this piece is flat enough for the light to go through, so that you still have the light in the house. And I am working on this, flattening it really nicely, and again just placing it in the glue and flatten out the connection between the clay and the wooden plate, making sure that the place for the house itself is big enough for the house. And I'm actually trying out with the houses here, first one of them, and then I am squeezing the house that I want here down into the clay. Actually, I'm making around with this later and making so that it is the red house that goes into the clay here, and the greenhouse that is standing on the board freely. But I'm making sure that I have an indent of the house into the clay, so that there is a place for the house to sit in. I did let the clay dry completely or harden before I took my powdered snow effect, and I am going to take a chunk of that and place that, and I'm gonna place that here on the platform, and just slowly kind of scraping it over the platform itself, over the hills and stuff like that. And here I am making sure that the mama here and the little kid is kind of on the snow instead of on the plate. So I'm just taking my time with this, and 1 spoon at the time of the snow effect. I am going all the way around the surface on this platform here. So that took quite some time to put the snow effect on there, and I am now going to glue the houses down. And I of course waited for the snow effect to harden completely before doing that. And here you can see I placed the red house on the little hill, and I am placing this tree with there is 3 trees on there. I'm placing that here behind the houses, making sure there's room for it. And then I am placing the greenhouse on top of the last light bulb that there is on this plate here. I'm trying to make sure that the thing that is coming out the chimney is blowing the same way as on the other levels, so it looks really nice. And then I'm just putting in a few more trees here and there, and I have one more figurine that needs to go here, so I'm keeping the space around this little black jar open for the next video, because we will have a special figurine standing right there. So anyway, I'm taking my last tree that I actually wanted on that platform and gluing that down here, so there is a tree more down there now, and then there is no more room except for the figurine that we are going to do next time, and that will be tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow. Happy crafting.